I think you all know that I've always felt the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. I think you all know that I've always felt the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
Shalom. I'll just start by giving all the praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Raruch HaKodash. Double honor to the elder apostles of the great millstone who rule well, peace and salutations to the hopeful elect tabernacle of David, scattered throughout the 4 corners of the earth. And what you just heard, these were words from the former president of the United States, Ronald Reagan. The 9 most terrifying words. And this is what your former president had to say concerning your federal government. But now, from that same federal government, there seemed to be, a new declaration. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you are already aware of this now. Maybe some brothers already went into it, they did lessons, videos on it. But apparently the DHS, which is, one of the, branches of government, now has a broad spectrum of what they classify as terrorism and who can be a terroristic threat, right? And it's very interesting, that they'd have this broad definition of what terrorism is. And we know why they're doing that. They're broadening the definition so that they can pretty much mass label anybody as a terrorist. You know why? Because people are starting to come against the establishment. More and more people are waking up to this man's BS. He's getting exposed left and right. That's what this is all about. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we're not ignorant of his devices. 2 Corinthians 2:11. All right. He's cornered. So this is what he has to do. This is what he has to resort to. Hegelian dialectics. All right. False flags, psyops. Because it's looking funny. Right now, they're falling back on these mandates and these restrictions right now. They're saying that masks can now come off. The science is changing. The numbers are getting low. After just weeks before, it was just fear mongering after fear mongering after fear mongering. Now let's just fall back on it. Let's push back a little bit. Now all of a sudden you got the truck convoy in Canada, and you got a lot of crisis actors involved with that situation. They saying that it's coming to the states. You got controlled opposition with these entertainers, Joe Rogan and his situation. Then you have Whoopi say what she said about them small hats. And then prior to that, you had this little synagogue situation. And now they're basically saying, be on alert. There's going to be copy attacks similar to that situation. So be on alert. Be on alert. There's groups, homegrown groups that got access to the power grid. They can attack the power grid. So be on alert. And when they set up these false flag situations, they always have a patsy. All right. They always have an individual that fits the narrative. He comes with a memo. He comes with a religious belief. He has a political affiliation. It's just already set up. This is all part of the Hegelian dialectic, order out of chaos. This is what this devil's doing. And you got to be mindful. That's why the scriptures tell us, to be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary as a roaring lion walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. We talking about the devil. The devil that never takes breaks, man. He can't sleep except he have done mischief. So what I have right here, this is from Homeland Security, the DHS, summary of terrorism threat to the U.S. homeland. All right. And then it just gives a very broad spectrum or definition on what they consider as terroristic or a threat to U.S. homeland. Right. So it says, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but you can see, based on this summary, that this devil, he wants war. All right, because hey, we in the midst of a war for your mind, man. We're in a psychological war. We're in an information war. All right, it's a war on all fronts right now. Hey, matter of fact, let me get a quick scripture. And that's why it's important to know what time that you're in. Ecclesiastes 3 and verse 1, it says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. All right, and let me jump down to verse 7. It says, a time to rend and a time to sue, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. And as long as this devil's in power, there'll never be peace. The scriptures even say there is no peace unto the wicked. All right. So we're clearly in a time of war. So going into it, it says the United States remains in a heightened threat environment fueled by several factors, including an online environment filled with false or misleading narratives and conspiracy theories, which is all coined by the government. Anything challenging, the narrative or the status quo is considered a conspiracy theory. Even though it's been, most of them have been proven fact. You can go and look this information up yourself as long as you don't go on Google, because we know Google is part of the engine that they control. They control the information. All right. And conspiracies is in the scriptures. Let's prove that. Let's go to Psalm 64. Psalm 64 and 1, it says, hear my voice, O power, in my prayer. Preserve my life from the fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. And we know that that's talking about the powers that be, the globalists, the ones that the hidden hand that makes it all happen. They got the wealth, they got the power, and they sit in the background, man. All right, but now they're not really hidden anymore. People know who's responsible. All right. But they're the ones behind the scenes that have these councils, and they make these things happen. And they use these puppet governments, these puppet leaders, these puppet politicians. All right. And they make it all go down, man. All right. Now, let me go real quick. I think it might be the NLT translation. It might be. Let me see. Let me check the NIV. Yep. NIV translation. I'm going to read again. It says, hear me, my power, as I voice my complaint. Protect my life from the threat of the enemy. Because these are the real terrorists, man. All right. The shit that they did the past 2 years, that was the biggest terroristic thing you can do to humanity, man. All the wealth that you stole, wow, they pulled the biggest heist in the history of man on the planet Earth, man. Racked in so much billions of dollars, man. And it cost people lives, injuries, people that will never be the same. A lot of businesses gone. A lot of people are now dependent when they used to be self-sufficient. And now he wants to run down and call you a terrorist, giving him a justification to start slaughtering and locking people up. So yeah, we definitely going to need protection from the Heavenly Father, man, because we know this devil is coming. All right, it says, hide me from the conspiracy of the wicked, from the plots of evildoers. And all this shit been planned out. It all been planned out, man. And now their plots have been getting out, and people on the internet been figuring it out, man. So now they have no choice but to go for what they know. All right. So let's go back. So it says, including the online environment filled with false or misleading narratives and conspiracy theories, even though they've been using mainstream media to mislead you the whole entire time. All right, where you can go back and find clips of these same officials saying one thing, and then now they're saying a complete opposite, totally contradicting what they once said in the beginning. And if you actually use their own words against them, that's classified as misinformation. So really, these people who's been doing all this lying and all this double speaking, according to their own definition, they're the terrorists. But they're just projecting. They won't. No, you're the terrorist as far as they're concerned, because you're a threat to what they got going. So let's continue. It says, in other forms of misdis and malinformation introduced and are amplified by foreign and domestic threat actors. Actors, huh? Hey, like for example, I mentioned that trucker convoy up there in Canada. We know that the government got a hand in that, man. Now I'm pretty sure you got some people that are legit. That's trying to make things happen with that situation. But you already know it's infiltrate. All these things that happen when it gets national coverage like that, this shit is definitely infiltrated, man. That shit is being led through controlled opposition. Now to show you something, let's go real quick to the images to show you how these devils play. Because they already got all these things mapped out and planned out, man. Everything that you see that happens in this world, you better believe that they already had this planned out and plotted out, man. Because the world is a stage. Now look at this real quick. Right there in the Illuminati card. Trucker local on strike. Long haul strike. Come on, man. They still catching the people with the same 1-2 combo, man. And people getting caught, Sandy Hook line and center. So this is the games that they've been playing, man. All right, the scriptures tell you about this devil, man. Was that Daniel 8? Let me go to that. Because of their right hand of falsehood, they have that craft, man. Let's go to Daniel 8. Yeah, Daniel 8, verse 25, it says, and through his policy, also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. You see that? And when it speaks of his policy, it's talking about his intelligence. The Hebrew word shakal, and it says, Intelligence, by implication, success, discretion, knowledge, policy, prudence, sense, understanding, prudence, insight. And then it says down here, cunning, craft, and a bad sense. He's a crafty devil, man. But that's how he prospers. That's how he succeeds. It says, and through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. And he shall magnify himself in his heart. You know, him thinking that he's on the level of the Most High. You know, that he all of a sudden he's on his level. He can predict pandemics. I got the antidote. I even wrote a book on how you can avoid the next pandemic. You know what I'm saying? He just got it all mapped out, man. You know, climate change. You know, you got to track your he got to track data on every move that you make. Because he thinks he's on that level. He thinks he has that kind of authority. The scriptures say, the pride of thine heart have deceived thee. Talking about Edom. And it says, and by peace, you know, meaning peace, security, safety, shall destroy many. And we saw what happened the last 2 years. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes. And the Lord's going to allow this devil to be raised up to this point, because when Yahweh Shai comes back, this devil's going to have to face the Lord, man. He's going to have to face the Lord and his angels. All right. And guess what? The Lord's going to show him who a real, man, the Lord is known as the king of terrors, man. The Lord's going to show him what a real terrorist is. He's going to terrify these beasts, man. All right. The Lord's going to show you what true terrorism truly is. Just watch. He ain't going to have no guns. He ain't going to have no, weapons. The scriptures tell you how he's coming. He ain't going to need no weapon. But he going to show you how he gets down. He said, thy shame shall be seen, and I will not meet thee as a man. It says, but he shall be broken without hand. The Lord ain't gonna have to lift up a finger, man. He just gonna show you. All right. It talks about that stone being cut without hands. That's gonna break in pieces the toes, the foot of the beast. That's our Lord, man. And and guess what? He has his elects back, man. They're gonna be protected. The moment you think you're going to make your move, that's when the Lord's going to step in and make his. Let me get that in Isaiah 59 real quick. Isaiah 59 verse 19. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of the Lord Yahweh shall lift up a standard against thee. All right. And the Lord's going to put you to flight, man. We already know there's going to be an insurrection against those that fear the Lord. And we're going, I'm going to go to that. Let me go back to the summary. So let's continue to read it. It says, these threat actors seek to exacerbate societal friction, to sow discord and undermine public trust in government institutions, to encourage unrest. Hold on. Well, what have you been doing about Black Lives Matter and Antifa? You allowed them to tear shit down and burn shit down for a whole summer. What happened with that? They're not going to be classified as a terroristic group. Why? Because you got your hand in it. Your government, all right, the powers that be that control the government, that funds the government and these different organizations, they're behind it. All right, the left, the Democratic left. That's very interesting, right? But they're not under this classification, because they be working like clockwork, man. They be right on time. That's because they're controlled opposition. They're part of the Hegelian dialectic. That's why. All right? Ask George Soros, who funds them. It says, which could potentially inspire acts of violence, mass casualty attacks, and other acts of targeted violence conducted by lone offenders and small groups acting in furtherance of ideological beliefs. So pretty much it's going to become a transgression in a society to have a belief system that doesn't coincide with the established society. All right. If your beliefs don't coincide with the New World Order, then you're a threat. So that opens up room for pretty much damn near anyone. So they can lump all these people in. So this devil, he's finna come down with it, man. It says, in our personal grievances pose an ongoing threat to the nation, while the conditions underlying the heightened threat landscape have not significantly changed over the last year, the convergence of the following factors has increased the volatility and unpredictability and complexity of the threat environment. The proliferation of false or misleading narratives. That's number one. All right. So if you question what happened with the election, if you you question this whole Divak. I'm not gonna call it the what they call it. I'm gonna use the word spelled back, which if y'all remember what it actually means and what it goes back to. I'm talking about the vid. You question that, and it's been so many holes. It's been exposed day in and day out, man. But if you bring that to fruition, or you share that information, that's what they're talking about. Anything involving them potions. It says, which sow discord or undermine public trust in government institutions. Well, hey, your former president, he said the 9 most terrifying words. I'm from the government, and I'm here to help you. So maybe Ronald Reagan was a terrorist too. Continued calls for violence directed at U.S. critical infrastructure, soft targets and mass gatherings, faith-based institutions. Here we go. Faith-based institutions. And y'all know y'all know what it is with the truth. This thing of ours is faith-based. Hey, and hey, let's get real quick. Let's go to Hebrews 10. Hebrews 10, and I'm going to start at verse 35. All right. We're faith-based all the way, man. It says, cast not away, therefore, your confidence, which have great recompense of reward. For you have need of patience, that after you have done the will of the Most High, which is what? To fear him, keep his commandments to the best of your ability. All right. When you receive this word, if you're a man and you was able to receive this, you go out there and you speak it, you teach it. All right. You publish it, man. You might receive the promise. For yet a little while, and he that shall come will come and will not tarry. Talking about the Lord. Now the just shall live by faith. But if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him. And even when this devil, wages against us, when he comes for us, you better keep your faith intact, man. Even if you gotta go, even if you gotta be a martyr, man. Because the Lord will not have pleasure if you draw back just because this devil, finally decided to come after you. Even Yahushua said, in your patience possess ye your souls. He even explained that in Matthew the 10th chapter, about, when they do come for you, don't even try to meditate, what you shall say in that hour. The Lord's going to give you the spirit in the tongue to speak what should be spoken. All right. But the just shall live by faith. So we're faith based. So you already know that they're aiming at us. They're aiming for Israel. All right. Let's go to Hebrews 11:6. And it says, but without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to the Most High must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. All right. And our faith is going to be tested. We got to go through the hour of temptation. This devil's going to try to, come against us. It tells you that in our 2 Ezra 16, there's going to be insurrection against those that fear the Lord. All right. Revelation 3:10. He said, he that keepeth, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will keep thee from the hour of temptation. Okay. So we're going to have that unfeigned faith. Let me go to 1 Peter 5. Because we're definitely going to have that power to preserve us unto salvation, but it's going to be through our faith. Where's it at? Actually, I think it's 1 Peter 1. Yeah, 1 Peter 1. And verse 4 says, to an inheritance incorruptible and undefiled, and that fadeth not away, reserved in heaven for you, who are kept by the power of the Most High through faith unto salvation, ready to be revealed in the last time. All right, so we're going to be protected by the power of the Most High through our faith. That's what's going to get us through this, man. So you have nothing to fear, man. The Lord have not given us He have not given us the spirit of fear, but of love and of what's that? But of power, but of love and of a sound mind. All right. Hey, even King David said it in his psalm. He said, "I will not fear what man can do unto me." All right. It tells you that in Revelation that they love not their lives unto death, man. So you could project, your BS and call us terrorists, but ultimately you're gonna meet the king of terrorists, and the Lord is only allowing you to do what you're doing. You're just a rod in His hand, man. So anyway, let me go back, and I'll finish this out, and then we can close it out. I'm gonna just read through the rest of it. It says, where did I leave off at? Yeah, it says, soft targets and mass gatherings, faith-based institutions such as churches, synagogues, and mosque. So you lumped in with the Muslim, and you got guys like Vocab who also try to link us with Islam, right? Institutions of higher education, racial and religious minorities, right? They already call us black identity extremists. Government facilities and personnel, including law enforcement and military, because you got people that's in the military that don't want AWOL because they refuse to bow down, man. They're not going to give it to those mandates. A lot of people in the Army, they had to be discharged. Marines had to be discharged. All right. And then they had to, set up a task force and train like there's going to be some type of terroristic event. That's because they plotting, man. And who knows, they can use somebody that look like us to try to implicate us and put us all in the same boat, because this devil is known as the accuser of the brethren. First, let me get Psalms 37 and 12, because that's what this devil do. Psalms 37 and 12, it says, the wicked plotteth against the just and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. The Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming. Yeah, your day, hey, that day is coming, man. And the time is ticking, man. That time is short. So come down with that great wrath. But in order for you to feel justified, you got to falsely accuse us first. You got to categorize us, put us in a category. Revelation 12 and 10, it says, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our power and the power of his anointed. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. And that's what they do. Jake has become the face of everything. Whether it be, pedophilia, domestic abuse. And now all they showing right now is Jake running wild in them cities, smashing and grabbing, robbing jewelry stores. And some of them might be paid off to do what they're doing. But either way, this devil got Jake doing his dirty work just so that he can, because Jake, they're Sodom's children, man. They always fall into this devil's traps. They always fall into his snares and nets, man. He usually comes back and use you against yourself. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness, man. It says, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto death. Because we know that, this devil, while he's making his case, against us, this is what he's going to be used, to demonize us and then eventually, come against us. Let me go to Second Esdras. Yeah, let's go to Second Esdras 16. Yeah, Second Esdras 16 and verse. I'll start at verse 68. It says, for behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. This is the hour of temptation. And they that consented to them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden under foot. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. Right? They shall be like madmen, sparing none. This is the devil coming down with his wrath and still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. This is that flood. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. They might, kick brothers' doors in 3, 4 in the morning. That's probably that might be how it go. And then some of you, like you zealots that are in these different camps, they probably ain't gonna just snatch you out. They probably gonna come in there and pull a mirror lock on you. They gonna probably do some of y'all like that. You've been out there, flaunting your sticks, your guns at camp. So they probably ain't gonna even pull you out of your homes. It says, then shall they be known who are my chosen. Because this is when their faith is going to be tested and tried. It says, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. Hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Be you not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High is your guide. All right. He's our guide, man. And the Lord said he's even going to give the angels charge over us. All right. The angels encamp round about those that fear the Lord. So something divine is getting ready to happen. The moment this devil decides to make his move while he's plotting against the just. Something divine is getting ready to come. And you can feel it. This devil, he knows what time it is, man. With his artificial immortality, you know, his robots, his robo dogs, everything AI, his transhumanism. He's trying to level up right now, but the Lord is building him up like he did Pharaoh. It tells you that in Romans the 9th chapter, man, that he raised thee up so that he can show his power in you. So anyway, going back to Revelation 12, it says, therefore rejoice, you heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And that's why he's coming the way he's coming. And you know, the world is coming against him. He knows that. All his iniquities are pretty much being exposed, and the earth is coming up against him. So his best bet now is just to go all out, man. You know, come down with the clamp down. You know, bring forth all your unrighteous decrees. Hey, speak as that dragon that you were known to be. Okay? And you're the biggest terrorist there is. We can't forget about your history. We can't forget about all of the heinous experiments conducted by this corrupt government. All right? All the cities that have been desolate and destroyed, you know, decimated by this government. So it says calls by foreign terrorist organizations for attacks on the United States based on recent events. So if you've been covering the Russia-Ukraine NATO situation, and, you know, talking about the missiles, and because we know that that's pretty much the final judgment on this place, man. All right, all these nations holding the arrow, they're going to shoot at her, and they're not going to miss. We've been prophesying that since we've been out there. So us prophesying this, the downfall, the destruction of this place, they're taking it as the a terroristic threat. This is terrorism. All right. So hey, we know what it is, man, and we see that, you know, you pretty much going down pretty fast, man. All right. So, you know, y'all can read the rest of this. You know, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but you can see it right here. It goes further into it. The key factors contributing to the current heightened threat environment includes, and then, you know, you can you know, look at all this stuff, you know, right here, all these different classifications. All right. So, yeah, man, I'm gonna end off right there. You know, hopefully y'all were edified. Let me give all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Hey, Esau, you losing, huh? You losing, homie. You losing. And with that, Shalom.